Hello, welcome to Creative View Podcast, TGIF. However, I'm very concerned about what's going on in Seattle, so that makes it a not so happy TGIF. Our country needs a lot of prayer and returning to God. So this is the My Secret crop top. And I was looking at it today on Ravelry, and I know I did the extra small, but wow, mine seems contracted. I'm glad I have Cascade Fixation, which will give stretch. This is the strap, and unlike the I cord that coils around, this is called a 6-stitch I cord, and you knit one and then slip one as to purl, knit one, slip one, almost like the heel of a sock. Now the reason why I just didn't go ahead and finish this is because I'm going to see my granddaughter tomorrow, and then hopefully she can slip into a room and see if this is going to be right. There's, I think, 6 stitches on each side that you put on waste yarn, and then you do a Kitchener stitch or a grad, and then it'll be time to make one for her sister. So that will be that. Oh, that's my dog. My husband said, you'd think Hartley would like to spend time outside watching the birds, but no, he wants to be in here. And the little one is learning how to play chasing squirrels, running around. That makes my heart glad, because when you get a dog that's been neglected or abused, they don't know how to play. And sometimes once they're loved and secure and all their needs are met, then they begin to have energy for play. I remember a hound dog I took in one time, and he just hid all the time. And if a man came into the house, or my husband, he would just tremble all over. And after a few months, we saw him throwing toys up in the yard and playing, and my other dog looked at him like, duh. So I told you how much I love this book, and I was listening to a writer say it's that first sentence or chapter that pulls you in. So here's the first chapter. I first saw Birdie Freeman at a funeral one hard winter day more than a year ago, but I did not meet her then. When she arrived in my life some months later, I had not the vaguest notion that I would one day write a book about her. Had someone suggested a thing to me, I would have dismissed him as a fool. That does make you want to know more about Birdie and more about our main character. At the end of the book, our main character, who was so closed up and walled off from friendships, sorry, I think the dog is going to probably bark the whole time, now has hopes and possibilities. I look out my window and I see that the sun is rising, spreading its colors over the world. Rain has fallen during the night, the lakes are full, and the rivers flow to the sea. Beautiful ending. So what is going on today? The shop was very slow. I don't think it occurred to me how many people feel very uncomfortable about going into shops. There's a little diner across the street from the shop, and I really miss them and all the activities, the comings and going. So they reopened today, and not much business. And one of the customers in my shop said, I wouldn't think of going into a restaurant. So I guess I didn't realize, and I need to become more sensitive to people that are afraid. And yeah. So I wanted to talk a little bit about crochet. I don't have a crochet project, but Lisa Wagner came into the shop today. Lisa, happy birthday. She does these adorable little dolls, and I said to her, would you be on my podcast someday? And she said, oh, so I think she will. So Katie will be coming, and Lisa. I wanted to talk about flowers, and This is one of my favorite interweave crochet books. As far as projects, I love the jewelry, the necklaces, the crocheted necklaces. There's like a frothy necklace, but the Tunisian crochet sweaters are really pretty. Not only that, the lacy vests and sweaters. But what caught my eye, I also like this top. And I'm wondering how many out there of you that crochet have done a garment, have done clothing. And they have a section on little girls' dresses, but they're not really dresses. They're more like overlays, pinafores. But what I was really interested is the flower. I have a book at the shop called, it's called Creative Crochet, but it's all flowers. And I had to look at it and look at it and look at it and say, do I want to order this book again? And I have to say, this is one of the prettiest flowers, much prettier than any that I saw in the book. And I thought we should have more flowers. Why aren't we putting flowers on hats and little kids? And what about our things? Why aren't we doing more flowers? You know, we had done a podcast on yellow, and why isn't there more yellow? So when Lisa came in today, she loves to buy Euro Yarns Kid Cotton. It's a sport weight cotton. It's really nice. It's perfect for her little stuffies and dolls. And she told me that 2 of the 3 yellows have been discontinued, the real bright yellow and the medium bright yellow. And I'm thinking, why aren't we using yellow? Hot pinks, that went. So, and here's an article in Love of Crochet, and again, flowers. Also thinking what happiness that just brings to see a flower. That's a Gerbera daisy. That is a beautiful daffodil. I love it. And on Ravelry, you can find designers that do incredibly realistic flowers on stems. It's amazing. It'll just knock your socks off. So anyway, that is that. And then lastly, I was looking at this little book, and again, I was more interested in the flowers because they could be done in any gauge. And sometimes if you see, you say, no. Well, maybe take it and put it on something else, okay? So where else am I? I finished a Christian book while I was knitting. I didn't meet. I was at a Christian women's conference one time, and Sheila Walsh was a speaker, and she was really sweet. I read this book that she co-authored. I really, really liked it. If anybody ever wants to read any of these books, send me a line. I'll stick it in the mail and you can pass it on. It's about a single mom with a lot of worries on her mind, trying to break down some walls. There's a adorable little love interest story there, and yeah, really cute. So I wanted to start the top for my granddaughters that I've shown you, called Roslyn. There's the top, but it can also be worn on the shoulders. And believe it or not, I spent the whole day doing the hem. So first you do a provisional cast on. Don't be afraid of those. I like the crocheted method. So you crochet a chain that's longer than what the amount of stitches you need. And then you put your needle into the back. So you have your front and back loop crochet will behind it. It's called the third stitch. And you cross over and pick up stitches. you do a provisional cast on when you want to at some point take this yarn out. You have live stitches and you either attach it to something else. What it's going to be is that will come off the needles, it will be folded up, and it will do a hem. So I did the same mistake I always do. There's the hem. Is that when you do a provisional cast on, of course, you use scrap yarn. And what mistake do I always do? I use the yarn for the project. That is not what you want to do. And then as I'm chugging along, I'm like, oh, no, this is wrong. This is so wrong. This is so wrong. So today, I don't even know if I'm going to get the hem done, but just take it as it comes, right? Just take it as it comes. And the other thing I wanted to show you was I had a lot of things packed away from a year and a half when our house flooded, things that were almost finished. This is Knitting Fever Painted Desert. This is a wool yarn with maybe some nylon, but it does have pretty striping. And this is a shawl that you just kind of chug along until you get to the end, and then you do some real pretty lacy things, and I like the edging. So when I get closer to the edging, I'll show you more of the shawl. It's a little hot to work on right now, but I hate to keep putting it away. So yesterday, I showed you this book, and I thought maybe I would just do a blurb a day. So what if I told you that there were multiple cures for cancer, but they are systematically suppressed because cancer is worth $200 billion per year? In business lingo, the cancer industry is cash cow, but it's a scam at the expense of cancer patients. And I know there have been many doctors along the way that have discovered cures not only for cancer, but for other diseases, and all of a sudden they're dead. So it's sad because your cure for cancer might put Big Pharma out of business and would certainly end the careers of countless so-called researchers. And keeping the public ignorant about the real causes of cancer and effective treatments for cancer results in more cancer patients. You see, money rather than moral ethics is the deciding factor for the cancer industry and the medical mafia. So, very sad testimony of our society. And lastly, and this is not an advertisement in any way, I wanted to show you this, but first, this is what I'm reading now, The Children's Hour. I'm sure it's a classic. It's called A Gripping Novel That Will Keep You Busy on the Beach, Unable to Do Anything. Hold on one second. Hey there, Mr. Hartley boy. I can't keep you out any longer. Come on in. Come on in. Okay, folks, and I'm back. He has learned now that he can come in the garage door and be let in. So again, this is not an advertisement, but I have a lot of granddaughters. We actually have 19 grandchildren. I think one more boy than girl, I think. So I started getting these Ipsy bags, IPSY, once a month, $10, that's shipping included, and the girls love getting these. Now, they'll tell you what's coming, and you can order more, or you can order after you get it, but just to show you what you get, there's a frizz, anti-frizz leave-in conditioner, nail polish, which, wow, what a wake-up call when I found out that nail polish can be $15 in a beautiful color. I'm thinking, wouldn't that be the right yarn for flesh tones? Holly makes these little dolls that you just knit in stripes, and then you sew down to separate the legs and the arms, and flesh tone yarn is hard to find. body lotion, and this smells so good. You can smell it just getting it out. A lip tint, and a really nice blush, plus your cute little pouch, and every month the pouch is different. All that for $10, shipping included. And so for their birthdays, for holidays, I'll stick this in, and they can't wait to see what's in there. So what is the opening chapter of this? And we're starting a book club at the yarn shop, and you're all welcome to join in. And then we thought, what if you did a project that reflects the book? And the first book, which hasn't arrived yet, I think it's called Healing Justice, and it's about a police dog. So here's our first chapter. Early autumn sunshine slanted through the open doorway in golden powdery bounds of light. It glossed over the ancient settle, dazzled upon the large copper plate that stood on the oak table, and touched with gentle luminosity the faded silk colors of the big square tapestry hanging on the wall behind the gallery. A pair of short-legged gumboots carelessly kicked off, stood just outside on the granite paving slab, and abandoned on the worn cushion of the settee, a willow trug waited with its cargo of string, yarn, a pair of secateurs, an old trowel, and twist of paper containing precious seeds. Wow, not the excitement of other books to pull me in, but I'm gonna read it, The Children's Hour. So I think that's it for today, and I will be back soon. Keep that smile, pray for our country, shine baby shine.